Joining us right now is Uber's CEO Dara Khosrowshahi. He is here on set, and we're thrilled to have him right here.
Thank you for having me. It's
Thank
great
you.
to be here.
First of all, let's talk about the SoftBank deal.
Yes.
Because we've been talking a lot about that on our air the past month. It's now finally done. What does that do? How does that change the company?
Well, we are thrilled to have SoftBank as an investor. As you know, they're one of the biggest capital players in the world. And through their historical investments, they know the ride-sharing industry, they know electrification, they understand transportation in a way that few investors do. So we're thrilled to have them behind us and investing in Uber and not our competitors,
right,
which is a great thing. But the SoftBank investment also came with certain governance changes that we needed to make as a company, such as getting rid of the high vote shares, really going to one share, one vote for everybody at Uber, so everyone has an equal voice. And we think those kinds of governance reforms are incredibly important as we drive the company forward to being a public company, hopefully in 2019.
Got to ask, what's the relationship like with Travis?
You know, the relationship with Travis is fine, but it's strained because obviously there was a lot that happened in the past that wasn't right. And I think the moral compass of the company was not pointed where it needed to be. And while you don't want to blame individuals, in the end, the CEO of the company has to take responsibility. And I think a lot of the press coverage, et cetera, is difficult for him, and that's totally understandable. Travis has been there for me when I've needed advice as a board member. But this is a difficult time for him. It's a difficult time for the company, but we have to look past that. And my job is to move the company forward, is to move the culture of the company forward. And right now, that's what I'm focused on.
How often do you talk to him? On a weekly basis, maybe? Not
on a weekly basis. I would say it's on a monthly basis. We obviously have our normal board calls, and we also touch base once in a while as well. But right now, really my focus is getting a management team together. We brought Barney Harford from Orbitz, who used to run Orbitz. I've known him for a long time. Tony West from PepsiCo. In really getting a team together at Orbitz, who I think can open up the next, at Uber, who I think can open up the next chapter of the company and take us to where we need to go.
The next place you may be going is an IPO.
Yes, we hope.
That's clearly on target. Do you think it's going to be easier or harder to make some of these changes that I know you want to make as a public company? People always talk about how they need to be a private company to do all of this.
I've been CEO of a public company for 13 years at Expedia. And I think that's an excuse. I think that it is sometimes harder as a public company to make the kinds of long-term bets that you want to make. But if you're clear about where you're going, and you're clear that you're not going to be subject to short-term thinking, then there's a certain class of investor who isn't going to be interested in you. And I think you need to be clear, and then you need to deliver. And the public markets hold CEOs and teams accountable. And I think with Uber, this is a company that has absolutely been held accountable. And to some extent, I think Uber suffers from all of the negatives of a public company because the world is fascinated with everything that we do, and we don't get any of the benefits of being public. So I think let's step up to the plate. This is a big scale company. It's an important brand all across the world, and we are going to step up, and we're going to be a public company that our employees can be proud of.
What's the latest state of play with the regulators in London?
We are continuing to have dialogues with the regulators in London, and I'm cautiously optimistic. I think that the difference here is that we're being open and honest, and there were things that we did in the past that weren't right, and all of Transport for London's questions and issues, they completely make sense. And we've asked them to be patient with us in some areas, but they've been very clear about what they need, and I believe that we can deliver. And I think that London with Uber in it is a better city, and I know that Uber with London as a large market is going to be a better company.
Dara, one of the issues, though, for regulators and for other people who have been watching the company has been every time we think we're getting through and things look like a clean slate, there's another scandal that comes up, whether it's taking control of passwords and being able to change things so it looks like if a police raid came in, headquarters would be able to change that. Is there anything else out there, any other issues like that, or are we really done with all of the after effects of stuff that happened before you got here?
So I hope we're done. I can honestly say that I hope we're done. And I can tell you that The employees at our company are open and have taken responsibility for the past. Some have left and are looking forward and are absolutely going to do the right thing. But if there has been behavior in the past, I believe that it's out there. That's what I believe. And we've done investigations and we're looking through everything. And sometimes when we found things that were unpleasant, even though we knew it was going to hurt, we disclosed it. We didn't make any excuses. So I believe that the mistakes of the past are out there. The only thing that we can do is be transparent. Tony West, our general counsel, when we were talking about this, said that sunlight is the best disinfectant. And right now, we have to bring these issues into light. We have to be transparent. We have to admit mistakes. And then we have to change. And that's why one of the first things that we did was bring in new cultural values, new norms. And one of the ones that I get repeated to me over and over again, not by me, but by our employees, is do the right thing, period. I think if we do that, we'll be fine.
Dara, you came when you were 9, I think, and your parents were well off in the before the revolution, when the Shah was there. Do you think it's time now with what you've seen over there? Do you think that there's something that it's been lit and that this is not going to end quickly, or there's still more?
I think that it's going to take time, but I think that a fuse has been lit in Iran, and Iran wants to be part of the world community. There's an incredible education system there. Women in Iran are strong, they are educated, and the identity of Iran as a country, I believe, is greater than the identity of Iran as a Muslim nation.
It was a secular country.
It was a secular country.
And the genie went back, or the toothpaste went back in the tube.
And listen, I think that identity of Iranians being proud of their heritage, of the Persian culture, empire, of the food, etc., that and the education system and the fact that women are so strong in that culture, I believe are going to lift Iran. I don't know when.
Weren't there chants bring back the Shah or something? There were.
I won't go there, but listen, before the Shah was in place, Iran had a prime minister, and unfortunately, the U.S. and Great Britain, because they didn't like what he was doing, removed him. So I do think that there's a reason why Iran historically is angry with the West, but we got to put that behind us, and I think there is hope.
Final question from me. Driverless cars. You made some news the other day saying you thought it might take a lot longer than we anticipate. I don't know if you saw there was also an accident overnight that a Tesla car on autopilot.
Okay.
But what is your sense of where the driver? You know, if you hear from Elon Musk, you hear from Google, you hear one thing. You're now in the hot seat. What do you see?
I think that it's going to take a long time to get to full autonomy. In software, it's difficult to write software that solves every single problem out there, and there are edge problems in software that create issues. Edge problems in autonomy threaten lives. And I think the key with autonomous is that there's going to be a hybrid period where you're going to have certain routes that can be served autonomously, and there are certain routes that only a person can serve. And I think that we as Uber are in a very, very good position having autonomous and the network under one roof to get from here to there. But the there is going to take fully autonomous, I do believe, is going to take 10 plus years.
Okay.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.